Hello everyone and welcome to a new chapter of sketching and drawing tutorial with me. In this chapter, we are going to learn how we can create different textures. It means that I'm going to let you know how you can create each kind of texture. For example, objects like textures like fabric, metallic, blurry, and so many other things. But before all of this, I want to tell you that what tools you need for this chapter of texturizing. The tools that we need are very limited. I just need a normal pencil, a sketching B6 pencil, an etude eraser, and that's all. That's all the tools that you need for this chapter and nothing more. So, let's move on together and work on the first chapter, which is actually one of the bases of the texturizing and texture creating. So first of all, I create a circle, and now all together we want to do the shading for this circle in a way that from one side the light is shining on this object and one side of my object is totally in the shadows and it would be shaded. So if my source of light would be placed on here and it would actually just shine on this normal object, it's just a solid object. It's not fabric or it's not metallic. It can be something like pottery or wood. So if that would be my light source, this would be my darkest area and would be the shadow and shaded area. First of all, I want to start with my normal pencil. My HB pencil. And then, with the use of that, I start shading here. See? I start from the edges and sides, very, very slowly, with a very still and normal hand pressure. I'll try to shade. In this step, it's very, very important that your hand pressure would be stable. And in each part, you do not increase or decrease your hand pressure, because if you do that, it actually disrupts the shade and the work. It means that your shade would not be cohesive anymore. So try to keep your hand pressure stable and the same amount. And then at last, as I told you, you start with a light pencil, which can be your normal pencil, and you will start with that. The hand pressure is still stable and the same. I have complete control on my hand and my hand pressure. And I'm being very careful that in the middle of my work, I do not just increase or decrease my hand pressure suddenly. I would not do that. Just as you can see, I'm just giving a whole shade and a background color to all of my work. It's a light one. Giving a light background color and a light shade to all of my work. Just like that. I'll just continue. All the way through here. As you can see, I've got a very cohesive shade over here. And again, I emphasize that its texture is something like clay, I don't know, pottery, wood, or something that doesn't have any special texture or reflection. Then I shade from the edges of my work, and then basically I'm fading the line that was creating my circle. I'm fading it with shading it. So I do not want to leave any specific lines in my work, not at all. That's why I am fading the framework with shading, of course. Sounds like some kind of song, fading with shading. That's what we want to do, exactly what we want to do. Okay. Consecutive shades in different directions would be made. Just be very careful, my dear friends. Pay a lot of attention that all the shadings that I've created up to now were not in only one direction. I am creating all of my shadings in all different directions. Therefore, the trace of my pencil would not be left on my work. And the whole colors and shades would blend into each other as one. And then very, very slowly, I start from the darkness of my work now, and I'll increase the darkness and I bring it out. See? Obviously, as I move on to the lighter area, I decrease my hand pressure and decrease my shades, but I try to get this area very dark. Okay, just like that, I come all the way up and then I go all the way down. The important thing is to find the placement of your shade. See, I apply the darkness, I have a strong hand pressure, and then very slowly I move up. And I decrease my hand pressure little by little. I do not just drop the hand pressure to create any borders in between my different parts of shadings. I do not want that. I do not want any specific lines or borders in the middle of my work. And that happens when you suddenly change your hand pressure, decreasing it or increasing it. Both ways. So, I work from the edges and the sides of my work and I move toward the center of my work and I fade it. One of the most important basics of texturizing is actually this. It might be a little difficult for you when you want to apply it yourself on your work, but don't worry. With a lot of practices, it would be so easy for you, and you'll just get a hand of it. You'd be so comfortable with it just with enough practice. So that's how I continue it up to this area. See, my dear friends, I'm still working with my HB pencil. I haven't brought my sketching pencil into my work yet. So it's all a normal HB pencil. That's it. So As you can see, I'm keeping my pencil a bit more horizontally so I can use the side of my pencil's tip in order to create these shades over here. Just to create some of the shades. Just like that. And then as I move toward the light, I decrease my hand pressure so that my shadings would actually get faded in the light. See? It's exactly what I'm talking about. If there is any extra lines around my work, I fix it, so don't worry. And then I'll continue the rest of my work. Now, little by little, I want to add some more darkness into my work. That's why I'm going to add some more layers of shades on some parts. Now, I'm adding another layer over here, but at the same time, I'm increasing my hand pressure. I have more hand pressure in order to bring more darkness into the work. Just like that. And then, again, I'll continue the darkness until the center of my work and then I'll fade it. Just like that. I'll continue. And from here, from these parts, I bring a slight darkness into my work. And then in the light area, I would also bring some color. Not too much, but it needs a bit color. So just like this. In this stage that we've actually applied all of our HB pencil on our work, we switch to our B6 pencil, and then with our B6 pencil again we start applying the last darkness of our work, the last touch-ups, because we've got our actually we used all of our HB, we've got all that we could out of it, and now we switch to this one, and as you can see, I am bringing the darkness, and as I get to the middle, as I get to the light, I easily fade it. All right, here we go. Okay, I've got a very strong darkness here. I've got an absolute darkness palette 1, tonality 1. So it would look like this. Here we go. Now, all the way up, I should sketch it and shade it. And I'll do the same thing for the bottom as well. See? That's it. So, as you can see, I'm frameworking my work again. I'm making it cleaner, but be careful. I'm doing it with shading. So, be careful not to create any specific lines or borders, even if you want to renew your frameworking. Okay? And now, from the bottom of our work, with 1 millimeter distance, I create another shade, and I'll continue it as the shadow of my circle. It gets really dark from the beginning, but as I come out, I fade it into lighter colors. This would be the shadow of this object. Just like that. It's very easy. So don't worry too much about it. Just be careful about the shape of your shadow and the length of your shadow. I mean, better to say the size of your shadow. It should be relatable to your object, so don't forget it. And then I finish the end of my shadow in 11 or 12th tonality color palette. That's it, here we go. I'm just completing some more details here, but the whole thing is almost done. Okay, then again, I switch to my HB pencil and I work on the lighter shades of the shadow, just making them, softer and smoother. Here we go. See how easy it is? You just have to practice over and over again, pay attention to the courses, and you'll definitely can get it as easy as I did. Don't worry. It's a simple thing, and it's okay even if you don't get it very well for the first time or the second time. Maybe applying it would be a little bit challenging for you, especially if you're a beginner. But don't worry about it. It's only about practice. The only thing that can be challenging for students is that while applying these shades, they have trouble controlling their hand pressure. But obviously, if you practice enough and practice more effective, you can get it in a perfect way that you see right now. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and let's follow in the next one.